The Dragon King of the Eastern Sea had fallen. His blood still lingered in the waves, staining the shores of Chentang Pass. Nezha had won, but victory tasted like ash. For the people who once prayed for salvation now watched him with fear. They whispered that no child should wield the power of gods. They whispered that storms only bring ruin. Nezha turned his back on the city he had saved. He wandered the mountains, the rivers, the endless skies, searching for a place where he could belong. But peace does not follow one born of defiance. One night, as he stood upon a cliff overlooking the restless sea, he felt it. A tremor, faint yet ancient, moving beneath the waves. Something greater than the Dragon King stirred in the depths. A presence older than heaven's order itself. And somewhere, far beyond the mortal world, in a realm untouched by gods or demons, another story had begun to weave itself. A story that, though unknown to Nezha, would one day bind his storm to a fire carried by another soul. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Nezha's footsteps left no roots behind him, only echoes carried by the wind. Yet the sea never forgot. Though the Dragon King had fallen, his throne beneath the waves did not remain empty. From the trenches where light could not reach, voices began to stir. Old voices, hungry voices. Fishermen spoke of tides that rose without the moon, of ships that vanished into still waters as if swallowed whole, and of dreams shared by many in which a vast shadow curled around the world, whispering promises of ruin. Nezha felt it too. Each night, when he closed his eyes, he saw scales glimmering in the dark. He heard the clash of chains, heavy and unbroken, dragging through the abyss. Something ancient was waking. Something that did not care for sea or sky, god or man. And though Nezha wished to turn away, to walk deeper into the mountains and forget the sea, the storm within him would not let him. For storms are drawn to storms. And his fate, no matter how far he ran, was rushing back toward the tide. The world above carried on markets, bustled, temples burned incense. Children laughed in the streets. But beneath the surface, the sea groaned. Its voice carried not in words, but in tremors that shivered through stone and bone alike. Nezha wandered far, yet he could not escape it. In every river he crossed, he saw the reflection of a serpent's coil. In every storm cloud, he heard chains dragging against the deep. One night, in a fishing village along the coast, he heard the screams. The sea had risen without warning, swallowing boats whole. But this was no storm. No wind blew. No lightning split the sky. Nezha rushed to the shore, and there he saw it. A single chain, vast and rusted, breaching the waves like the spine of a beast. It writhed and sank again, vanishing into the depths. The villagers fell to their knees in terror. Some called it a curse. Others whispered the forbidden name of a god thought lost before the heavens themselves. Nezha said nothing, but in his heart he knew. The Dragon King's fall had not ended the storm. It had awakened something far older. Nezha had left Chentang Pass behind, but the storm inside him never rested. Each night, he dreamt of the Dragon King's last breath, of the fear in his people's eyes. He wondered if he had truly saved them, or only cursed them with his power. One evening, as the waves crashed below the cliffs, the sea began to tremble. At first, Nezha thought it was the memory of battle. But then he saw it. A glow deep beneath the water, like fire burning in the darkness of the ocean. It was not the Dragon King. It was older, stronger, something watching him from the depths. And in that moment, Nezha saw a vision. A child, far away, holding fire in his very soul. A child whose path would one day cross his own. The voice of fate whispered to him, "Storm and fire will meet. And when they do, the world will tremble." Years ago, at the very moment Nezha was born, in a quiet village, far from the seas, where mountains kissed the clouds and rivers shone like mirrors, a child was born beneath a burning sky. The elders whispered that the heavens had cracked that night, for the stars themselves seemed to tremble. The boy came into the world wrapped in flames, not flames that consumed, but flames that danced, warm and alive. His mother wept in awe. His father bowed to the earth, knowing this was no ordinary birth. They named him Huoling, the spirit of fire. As the years passed, the boy's laughter carried sparks and his footsteps left embers in the grass. Children followed him, half in wonder, half in fear. And though the villagers called him blessed, they built their prayers in silence, for they knew fire can warm, but fire can also burn. One night, as Huoling stared into the stars, he felt something stir. A storm, distant yet familiar, echoing like a memory not his own. The whisper of a name carried by the wind. Nezha. That night, Huoling could not sleep. The fire on his fingers flickered restlessly, as if it wanted to speak. When he finally closed his eyes, the world around him disappeared. He was standing on a vast shore. The waves crashed like drums, and the sky split open with thunder and fire. In the heart of the storm, he saw him, a boy with burning eyes, a red scarf dancing like flames, a warrior whose spear cut through sea and sky. Nezha. Huoling tried to call his name, but no sound came out. The dream shook and began to fade. Only a whisper remained in the darkness. The storm is not over, and neither is the fire. Huoling woke with a gasp, the words still burning inside him. And he knew, even before dawn, that his life would never be the same. The next morning, Huoling walked through the market streets of his village. But something felt different. Every step, every breath carried the echo of the dream. He passed by the fishermen repairing their nets. The smell of the sea filled the air, and for a moment, the waves seemed to roar louder, not with water, but with memory. Huoling froze. In the reflection of the water trough, he did not see only himself. Behind his eyes burned the storm. Behind his shadow stood Nezha. He stumbled back, heart racing. Nobody else had seen it. Nobody else heard the whisper that returned to him again. The storm is not over, and neither is the fire. Huoling clenched his fists. The flames did not hurt him anymore. Instead, they felt alive. And for the first time, he wondered if his fire was not a curse, but a calling. Years passed, but fate wastes no time. One evening, as Nezha wandered the cliffs above the restless sea, the sky burned red with a strange fire. It did not come from the heavens, nor from any god. It came from the mountains, from the boy whose spirit blazed like a sun waiting to rise. For the first time, Nezha felt it, a power that did not fear him, a fire that called to his storm. And somewhere, deep within, he understood. His path was no longer his alone. The storm had found its flame. On the edge of the mountain path, two figures finally met. Nezha, the storm, Huoling, the flame. For the first time, Nezha and Huoling stood face to face. The storm in Nezha's eyes met the fire burning in Huoling's heart. It was as if fate itself had brought them together. But before a word could be spoken, the ground trembled. From the direction of Huoling's village came a sound, not thunder, not storm, but something far worse. Like the sky itself had split open. Both boys turned, their instincts sharper than fear. Without hesitation, they ran toward the village, toward the blaze, the cries, the unknown shadow descending from the heavens. The world would not let them rest. Their story had only just begun.